You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the Hey everybody and welcome to the show. My name is Dave and this is Everything Everywhere, the show that you've come to know and love, maybe from FFOPradio.com. I need to keep saying that. But enough about me. Let's get into today's guest. He is a returning guest. He's got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I'm going to pick his brain about a bunch of junk. Boy, oh boy, I'm so happy to have you back. It is Sensei Emmett. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be back on, Dave. I've been looking forward to this for a while. So
I'm so glad we could work out our schedule. Like, not only, full disclosure, you've been one of our most enjoyable returning guests, but I know it's a double pain in the ass for you, literally being on the other side of the globe.
Yeah, I'm in Ireland, so it's a distance away from Arizona, all right, but
yeah, and see, a little peek behind the curtain for the people listening. Like, it's a comfy, cozy afternoon for me right now. What time is it for you, Emmett?
it's 10 p.m. at the moment, and I've just finished 3 hours of training.
Yeah.
So
Ouch.
I get to have a nice, it's a nice little slow day for me, and you get to go all the way at the end of your brutal day, because we're going to talk about it. But let me introduce Krista, of course, because she's over there in studio.
I am here in studio.
All right, so boy, oh boy, let's jump into it. For those of you jumping into this who are new, that don't know who Sensei Emmett is, he's a cool guy from across the pond, martial artist. Listen to the first episode. You don't need a whole CV right now. But mere days before the recording of this episode, I get this email from him that says he is participating in a 100-man Kumate.
What?
So I say, oh my God, of course we're going to have to talk about that. So let's crack that open immediately. So what first of all, everybody, I think, if you're not familiar with Bloodsport and or Frank Dukes, to explain to everybody, what is a Kumate?
it's more or less a fight. It's sparring, really, and this 100-man Kumate is kind of a thing that would have been done in Kyokushin karate for black belt testing and things like that. Now, I don't know how many times it's been done in the past, but there was one guy, Jude Reed, who actually had a documentary done leading up to his 100-man Kumate.
Wow.
And I just completed watching the documentary and came across this charity and thought I'd really like to do something and put the two together. And the next thing I knew, I had agreed to spar 100 people. So
yeah, what a wild. Okay, so yeah, let's get in, because a lot of people, if you're in the martial arts world, you probably maybe already know this, but yeah, there are disciplines that'll put you up against 100 other dudes. So let's crack into the rules a little, or ladies, PC. So let's crack into the rules a little bit. So how long do you have to fight each person?
that was actually up for debate for a long time, but we've kind of settled on 1 minute rounds.
Okay.
So it's still a very long fight.
Yes, you're going to be doing
minutes,
this.
But,
yeah, over an hour and a half, you're going to be having to defend yourself, literally.
Yeah, and then there was debates about gloves and things like that, but I wanted to incorporate a lot of judo and throws and groundwork on it, so I said, well, we'll leave the gloves and we'll go about 75%.
Okay.
So it's because it's for charity, we thought there's no point in killing each other for 2 hours. So we decided to go 75% and actually try and throw on as many different martial arts systems as we could.
Very cool.
So there's going to be a bit of judo, a bit of karate, a bit of boxing, and I'll just do anything and everything, just going for it.
Like that sounds so fun. Now, I wouldn't be a journalist if I didn't ask this. Did we have a legitimate 100-person line, or are some people doing doubles?
Some people are doing doubles now.
Okay.
And it's down to the whole COVID thing at the moment.
Right. Yeah, because that's why I asked, because I'm sure it's hard to get 2 people in the same room, let alone 100.
It is, yeah. So I think we've got 20 we're allowed in.
Okay.
So there are going to be 20 guys coming in one after the other, but they're coming on fresh every time, and when they finish the round, they have a 20-minute wait or a 20-minute rest before they're coming back in again.
Yeah, so I can't imagine what that would be like because you're gonna be the one breaking down, fatigue with stamina the whole time, and to get to have like what is it gonna be 3 or 4 goes at you and still being fresh. I wonder how it's gonna be like for them, if it's gonna be a gathering wave or a diminishing outgoing tide.
Well, they've only got 5 minutes each to fight.
Right.
So
yeah, that's true.
It's going to be a very long 2 hours.
So not everybody fights 100 people. It's just you are going to fight 100 people.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Here, maybe I maybe described that incorrectly, but yeah, in a 100-man kumite, it's basically you against 100 other people, and they come at you. So in the legit, like in the blood sport, you would have to like make sure that they can't keep fighting you before the next dude comes in. It's not, there's like basically no rules. So that's why I wanted to be like, they're not gonna go 100% at you,
right?
With 100 dudes.
So is it hard to like, because you said you're gonna have everybody go at 75%. Is it hard to control, like, to either give it your all or give it a little less or like half as much? How do you determine like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's what's worrying me is the thing. When you get in there and get hit, are you going to be able to maintain that 75%?
Yeah.
Or are you going to start stepping it up?
Right.
And like, how do you know what somebody else's 75% is?
Yeah, you just take it as it comes, I suppose, and hope for the best.
You've got a lot of coverage here because number one, it's for charity. Number two, it's probably going to be people and or well-wishers of the thing. So, like, if you were doing it just to like prove something, sure. A gentleman's agreement says 75%, but when the rubber meets the road, maybe it floats a little higher.
Definitely. No, it is all instructors in our own system. Well, the majority of them. So all of us has more or less got the same training.
Right.
So I've been kind of looking outside to kind of try and get things that I know none of the rest of them have studied. Try and get a few, I suppose, underhand techniques that they're not expecting. So,
right. So let's talk about training. What are you doing training-wise up to this event?
I've actually been doing a lot of boxing, and I don't know why, because I'm hoping to use more judo than boxing. But I think it's great to get the cardio fitness up, and
for sure, yeah.
It's trying to maintain that fitness for the whole 2 hours near enough.
Right. So as of like today, the recording, not necessarily when this is released, like how many days and or weeks and or what's our time frame until this happens?
Well, it was actually supposed to happen next week.
Okay.
But they've actually postponed it now for another 2 weeks.
Okay, so
due to 4 of the guys having COVID.
Woof. Okay, so I think what you're doing is probably the right thing. Like your body is telling you to do the right thing because 100 guys or 20 guys 5 times, you're going to need the road work put into stamina over technique, I imagine.
Yeah.
Because, your technique can be solid as a rock, but by dude 45, 50, 60, the technique is not going to be what's keeping you on 2 feet.
Yeah. And I've actually done this before for a testing for one of my black belts, and it was a bit more than 75%. It was all hell broke loose. I think at the time I nearly got my ribs broke.
Wow.
Oh my God.
And it was actually after we'd hit the 100, me and my instructor, he kind of came in to do one last round.
Oh.
And it got very serious very quickly. But
yeah. I can see how that can snowball quickly. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe. So let's pivot a little bit to the charity. So what charity are we doing this in benefit of?
It's a charity called Fair Fight, and they're based in New Zealand, in the Netherlands. And they work with children in Zimbabwe and Zambia and India, young girls, and more or less they're going through very tough lives due to environmental and cultural
for sure. Yeah.
So they help get them an education and also train them in karate to kind of give them life skills. So it's a very interesting charity. It's very based around karate.
Yeah, I can see. I definitely see what pulled you toward it.
Yeah, I just seen a charity that was involved with martial arts, and I thought I have to do something here. So and it was.
It's very interesting what we find when it somehow aligns with our passions, right?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, it was a guy from England. Actually has a YouTube channel, Bartitsu Lab, and he was doing some work with them, and I've seen it through his channel, and then sort of went down the rabbit hole, and next thing I knew, I was volunteering to fundraise for them and fight people, and
and here we are with 100-man
Kumate. Here we are. Yeah.
Wow.
So is this going to be videotaped? Like, are we going to be able to watch it?
Yeah, you're going to use tape? Will someone have a camcorder?
There will be camcorders, yeah. It's
RCAs?
I'd say it's going to be on my YouTube channel before the end of February.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
I want to. So full disclosure, we'll plug it at the end too. But there's going to be links in the description of this episode, and once I have a relevant link to that video, because I'm sure I want to see it, and if you're listening, you probably want to see it too. I'll put it in the description too.
Yeah, definitely.
Boy, oh boy. So what is it taking place in your club, or is it taking place in a friend's, or some adjacent?
Well, we actually own 10 clubs in the area that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of trying to narrow it down to which one would suit best.
So yeah, you probably want to do something centralized for everybody.
Yeah, that's it now. And I know there is one club that has a lot of senior students at the moment, so we might be able to get it on there and maybe get a few extra people involved.
That wouldn't be bad.
So,
all right.
So it's just plain beer at the minute. We just know the night we're going to do it and the locations to be set yet. So
yeah, that's the philosophy around here. You keep it loose, because if you tighten everything down, something's always going to go wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
If you got enough, clubs and space and people, yeah, I would really be interested in seeing this fight. So you need like at least a 3 camera setup. I realize lavaliers are out of the picture, but maybe a boom mic or something. Let's kick it up enough. I want to now, not for nothing. I'm not going to say you can or you can't, but I wouldn't put it in the rules. But are you going to sneak in some crushed aspirin in your belt like in Bloodsport?
Use some of the dumb Mac.
Yeah. When oh God, what's his name? I can't remember character names now. When that big dude, was it Chong Li? Maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
When he rolls in, you're gonna have to, I'm sure there's some big dudes in your associations and clubs, so you might have to bend the rules. I'm not saying break them, but bend them a little bit. 100 guys, let's be real.
Yeah, I think most of the guys that are actually coming are bigger than myself, so I left it to our head instructor to kind of get everybody together and pick a location, and he's picked the biggest guys he possibly could. Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. Maybe give you a little heads up. I'm not saying you do the full blown, like you wrap your arms and hands in burlap and then glue in glass, but something to sort of level the playing field. It's for charity, obviously, too. Throw that in there too. Like maybe you can have like one Kubaton, or maybe there's like there's just a Nerf sword floating around that has open access to everybody.
Yeah.
Make it interesting. Is what I'm getting at. Oh boy. So what else is happening, man? Obviously it's been a rapid holiday season that we've all blown through. Have you looked into any new styles? Obviously that must have come to an end if it was happening before this whole Kumate thing.
I think I've just been training a lot due to this Kumate since November.
Oh wow, so it's been in the works for a while.
Yeah, I've been kind of training, and then I think end of November I put up the GoFundMe page and started the fundraise. About 3 weeks after I started training.
Wow.
I kind of wanted to give myself a few weeks to see if I could get some momentum going before making it public that I was going to do this. But
that is important, because sometimes I've been there too, where you feel like your best intentions are on point. Then you like once you start testing the water, some people might go, "What?" And if enough of them do that, you go, "Okay, that was a bad idea." But I don't know. I can't see anybody early warning signs of a possibly 100-man Kumate and being like, no, not for me. I'm not into excitement. This seems like it's just going to be a drag. No, like everybody would be on board, I bet.
Yeah, everyone's looking forward, especially the guys that's actually participating.
Yeah.
I think a few of them have been waiting a few years to get a few punches at me. So
Yeah, so that's why maybe our 75% might be a little, so I'm saying,
A little dicey.
give yourself a leg up here or there if you can.
there's definitely a few secret techniques getting pulled out that they're not expecting. So it's, I don't know if you know if you've heard of Lua. It's a Hawaiian martial art.
I have not.
It's brutal. It's but one of the top instructors in that is a girl, Michelle Manu,
Mm.
and I've kind of been doing a wee bit of online training with her.
Okay.
And so it's just to pick up a few wee techniques on the side, I suppose, to pull out if need be.
Yeah, and what stuff like that is hard too, because if you want to especially with something like this, you want to have something in your back pocket, and you want to have basically a crash test dummy to test it on early, but you need someone who will keep their mouth shut.
Right.
Oh yeah, I've got a few of those.
Okay, you don't want to reach into your utility belt to pull out the Batarang or the anti-shark spray or whatever the case may be, and to have them already plan ahead for you.
Mm.
Yeah. That was one of the bonuses of actually having a YouTube channel and speaking to so many martial artists, is the fact that a lot of guys now that don't train with us from other systems, other clubs, that are kind of training partners on the side. So I've got a lot of guys that can go up and do a bit of kickboxing with, or
That's cool.
things like that. So, and keep it all in the quiet until I get in your podcast and publicize
Blow it all up.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's going to be a very short window between probably this release and the thing, so it won't. I'm going to try not to blow your cover too soon. Oh man, I'm super excited about that. So keep us posted. If anything changes, like get me links and stuff. I want to be at the ground level of that and see what's going on. Yeah, not for nothing, but you could probably even do it. Schedules be what they will. Do like a little live stream. Maybe have some betting going on in the chat square.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. Make it like a real back alley club. I want to see dice and money flying.
We're actually having a bit of fun at the minute trying to put a video together. We wanted to do like an 80s style kind of Rocky or Karate Kid training montage.
Yes.
But have it kind of a comedy spin to it. So I think we have got one little clip where it shows you a bit of the hands hitting the heavy bag.
Mm-hmm.
And it zooms out and it's actually on the TV and I'm just sitting watching it.
Yeah. Oh my God. That
So
would
not
be
actually-
awesome.
So it's interesting to see where all the comedy's coming into this wee video now. We've got about 4 or 5 guys working on it. So
Oh, I'm excited for that. I'm a sucker for anything anything martial arts related comedy wise. Like I saw, Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Anything that you can do, and it's sort of it's a subtle art form. So let's see if you can pull it off.
Yeah.
My confidence is with you, though. I think it'll be great.
I have a question regarding like all the different styles that, you're training on all the different styles to kind of get like a well-rounded, techniques to do for this. Is it difficult to like mesh them together? Because like I don't know a lot about martial arts, and like with Tai Chi, there's like, all the movements kind of flow together. Is it hard to go from like jiu-jitsu to boxing and like make it all combined?
it's not too difficult now. It's a lot to do with distance. No, the boxing and kickboxing, you kind of further distance, and as you get in close then and kind of get grips, and you kind of move into a bit of judo, then throws, and then the next thing you're on the ground and you're grappling, and it's so it works well together. It's just knowing what suits each distance really, and kind of just seeing where you end up.
Yeah, the more, speaking personally too, from all of my experience doing all the different styles, it's pretty astute. It's a matter of distance. You do what works with what you have to work with. And it's an interesting arc too, because you can, like, let's say starting from like seeing trouble from a mile away and it coming, like as that arc closes, your techniques get shorter and sharper, and then there's a quick drop off to the ground if you're a grappler.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's kind of like shooting an arrow. You can see it coming, and it goes woo, boink. Because once the distance closes, gravity takes over, and that happens a lot faster.
I see.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does. Yeah, it would have to do all about distance, unless you're like one of those bros who's only married to one style.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's in every. We've got to do. Maybe we should do a list or a breakdown, because you could probably pull out 7 or 10 different types of dudes you see in dojos, or just like training or wherever. You see the type of dude who gets into martial art who like buys $900 worth of gear and it gets 3 seconds of use.
Yeah.
Like the hobby tourist who shows up to be like, yeah, now I'm going to be a black belt. So they go and buy one and they get a bunch of patches and they throw maybe something on the back. You never see him after the first class.
We call them, what was it, NASCAR fighters.
Yeah.
They're just covered in patches and...
Like, don't get me wrong, I love patches too and I love goofy shit, but I wouldn't show up to a class like that.
No, definitely not. Like, we've had guys coming in and they've trained for 2-3 weeks and they've only just bought a gi, and they come on the first week in the gi and they've maybe 20 patches on it.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And we're looking at them going, what's all the patches for? You've only done 3 classes.
Yes. Dudes like that are funny. They're the try too harders.
Yeah.
They're the type of dude who will get like, I feel they're like the kind of, in the motorcycle world or any other world, where like the lame, I don't want to say lame, but like the white bread sort of dude who's looking for excitement. He'll get into something and throw all the bling and the whatever leather tassels, if they apply, anything that's dangly, all the baubles. But that weight crushes you, because like in anything, no matter what you do, the more junk on you, the less fit you are to do the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
They're a close cousin to the know-it-all, right? Because the dude who buys all the gear, he's like, oh yeah, when I get good, I'm so sort of grow into it. But then there's the dude who plants himself in the I already know everything. So he comes, pretty minimal, but he's like the internal version of the external dude.
Yeah.
Oh, and those dudes are the worst. Every time you get like hooked up sparring with them, it's like, oh, it's time to pair off. Everybody crosses their fingers behind their back and doesn't want to heck with this dude. Oh.
You always find they sort of levitate towards beginners as well.
Right.
So they know very little, but to a beginner they sound like an expert.
Yeah. And they build them up as like a secondary teacher. They would never like officially go against the sensei of the wherever they are, but they'll never turn away the opportunity to be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and if you need help and the sensei's busy, like they'll give themselves a little thumbs up over here. Those dudes drive me crazy.
They're like the TAs.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, it's like the teacher's pet. If you're not in martial arts, the teacher's pet, everybody can. But also the type who isn't like super sucking up at the teacher, so they can still sort of suck off of their students. Right. It's weird, man. I
think the one personality I don't like in a dojo now is actually the sensei that won't train. Oh yeah. They'll show a technique, but they'll never go on the mats and actually train with anyone.
Yeah,
or spar.
Walking teacher. They do a lot of walking with their arms crossed or like with their hands on their hips or whatever, and they do a lot of like after the initial demonstration. But that's the thing. If you get into it for the wrong reasons, that's probably where you end up. Like if you don't love to do it, you eventually do float to the top.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it too. The deeper you sink into martial arts, you literally sink into it. You will still go to the ground. You will still take all the low stances, but the less interested you get, the higher your knees get and the higher your pelvis lifts. and even the higher your hands get, because you'll be crossing your arms and looking and being like, keep doing that. Like if it were acceptable, I'm sure they would be constantly reaching for the sky to show how out of it they are.
Do you think the know-it-all guy that trains from the start becomes that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic example. He comes up a lot, Steven Seagal.
Yep.
He didn't even start low to begin with because he's a hack. Controversial hot take, I know. But he started so low, the only way he could get higher is he had to stop doing martial arts altogether and pick up guns. Like now he's just a sniper for 3 seconds a movie.
Yep.
Not to go off topic, but, Steven Seagal,
It's pretty terrible.
But yeah, he's all of them, though.
Yeah, he goes from
He's like the messiah of shitty students.
Yeah. And it shows in all of his movies.
Yeah. Like
It's
he
like a-
put on so many patches and shit. He doesn't know jack shit. He thinks he's like a reincarnated Dalai Lama. He's like the suck up and the annoying kid all together. And now he's wearing like a motorcycle helmet with a hair. That's where you're going to end up, kids. If you get into martial arts and it's not for you and you keep doing it, you're going to be Steven goddamn Seagal.
And they're going to be like, that's all right. He's rich.
Right. So, but that's the problem, though.
That could be from his CIA work.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
he's definitely. That's the problem, though. All the dickhead students have him in mind because they're looking at Steven Seagal and being like, I can do that. But the problem is, even lightning strikes an asshole.
Yep.
So he was a nobody going nowhere, but somehow lightning struck. You could say, well, it was the 90s or the late 80s or it was whatever. It was his hair, how he ran. Whatever it was that somebody saw and was like, kid, you got the goods. It's like everybody who grows up with a basketball in hand being like, I'm the next Shaquille O'Neal. You can't do that. You can't be the next Seagal.
No.
Especially in this day and
Yeah,
age.
definite.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, definitely.
but and here's the great thing about it too: unintentional comedy throughout. So even if you don't like martial arts, it's still hilarious.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to watch not a martial arts. I shouldn't say that. A Steven Seagal movie together. One day, you and I, wherever in the same country, we'll sit down and watch. God damn it,
Under Siege 2.
Under Siege 2.
It's on a train.
Train of Mystery or whatever the tagline
That's
is.
my favorite one out of all of his movies we've watched. I like that one the best.
Reaction video, just the two of us laughing for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You've seen this one, right? The second Under Siege?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. The train, the bad guy with the frizzy hair, it's just so good. And it's on a train. Like there's literally zero. Like if it took place in the back of an RV is the only place that would have less stakes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, whatever. It's what we can talk about that later. But here's the thing that you'll also maybe not want to talk about, but I'm going to maybe force you. So, because it's Ninja Turtles related. I have very few people that I have very specific topics to go over. But the other night, got the Ninja Turtles arcade game going. And you know how in between, like if nobody puts a coin in, it'll do all the little cut scenes in the bios and stuff?
Yeah.
And I think this is accurate because I had the Ninja Turtles handbook back in the day, but it just hit me because I saw it on the screen. Master Splinter, do you know how old he is?
No idea.
Take a wild guess. Based on his actions and his depiction alone, how old do you think Master Splinter is?
I'd say 70s.
Okay, Krista, what do you think?
Yeah, like late 60s, 70s.
He's 30 years old.
Wow.
He is a 30-year-old man.
He did not age well.
Yeah, the Turtles are between 15 and 17, and Master Splinter, 30 years old. Isn't that wild?
Old rat.
And I think in the original manual, he was only 35, so the video game only shaved off 5 years.
Jeez.
I think one of the biggest shocks I got was actually from Cobra Kai when Daniel LaRusso said he was actually the same age as Mr. Miyagi was when he won the tournament.
What?
And he was 52.
Wow. I don't know.
So Karate Kid won. Mr. Miyagi was supposed to be 52 at that stage.
Wow.
How old is he in real life?
Don't know.
Like he's got to be in his 60s or something. But they just throw that in to be like, yeah, there's another nod to the original, as if we're not already wallowing in nostalgia. But I think I have a theory that I just made up.
Okay.
Rats only live 2 years, so they age quickly. So I think that's what our problem is. When he became part rat, he became
He was already
older
70.
looking than he should. Yeah, so he's got like progeria or whatever, that disease that makes you look ultra old because it's the rat part.
Right.
Like
the
when
rat's
Jeff
all-
Goldblum
yeah.
got mixed up with the Fly, he got all the Fly attributes.
Yeah.
Problem solved. I did it.
There
We
you go.
did it. High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so I know you love Cobra Kai. I could barely make it through the first season.
We didn't finish it, and I'm upset about it.
I think we left like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because everybody groans when I say that. I hate Danielson so much as a character, and this stems even from when he was an entitled little asshole back in 1, 2, and 3. I just can't stand him, man. I like that they were building, what's his name, the blonde kid.
Johnny.
Yeah, I like that they were building Johnny up into our actual hero, but every time Danielson showed up, I wanted to be like, you are such a douche. I hate him. So how do you feel about Danielson, personally? And be honest.
I don't like him either.
Thank you.
I think out of all the actors in it, for him to be the kind of the lead, his karate is rubbish.
Mhm.
But
Like, seriously, how hard is it to get ready for a goddamn role? Look at Chris Hemsworth and how he blows himself out for Thor. Like, Danielson, you couldn't get a few goddamn karate lessons before Netflix was like, hey, buddy, want to be in the show that you're literally only famous for? Aside from Crossroads, where Steve Vai played the guitar for you? And he goes, you know what? I will do the show, but I'm going to take a hard pass on the karate lessons because I sucked back then and I guess I'll suck now.
yeah, definitely. But
Be a man, Johnny.
I've
Not
got
Johnny,
into a few arguments this week on YouTube over the whole Miyagi-Do thing. But everyone's kind of against Cobra Kai and they're the bad guys. And
How can you see that, though?
I pointed out the fact that every fight nearly in the whole Cobra Kai franchise has been started by one of the Miyagi-Do.
Bingo.
They've started every single one.
That's I think what the problem is like we're living in this as far as fans of Cobra Kai, I think they're split in one of two camps, obviously, because what other third camp would you be in? You're either Miyagi-Do or Cobra Kai, and if you're Miyagi-Do, you're completely deluded. Because here's the thing, Cobra Kai is basically real shit. Like Johnny is doing everything as real as possible and discovering things about himself. Miyagi-Do is full of tools, just like Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it sucks because you have to deal with a fan base where half of it is like, no, you don't get it. Because I understand you've got a bunch of warm fuzzies in your tummy about Pat Morita. And I can't fault you for that. He's a great dude. He did a great job as Miyagi. W's gone. So now we have this, essentially the Foot Clan, right? The Foot Clan started out great. They were ninjas for good, goddammit. And then the Shredder made them evil. Well, we had an opposite. Miyagi died, and his vacuum created Danielson, the evil homunculus.
Yeah.
Or at least he's a douche, at very least. Like, you may say Johnny acts like a douche, but he's got a heart of gold.
Right.
Yeah.
He acts like a douche because of the people that are douches.
Plus, he's jaded, he's misunderstood, and he had, I can identify with him because sure, you can look back at the original movies and say, yeah, he is definitely in the wrong because he's like throwing out racist terms and he's like doing actually physical bodily harm to people. Dick, we're in the new millennium, It's not the 90s anymore, bitch. We're here and he has learned. And so everybody is now swapped sides.
Right. He has his judgy moments in the episodes that we saw, like when all the kids started showing up. Like he had the whole judgment thing, like, oh, they can't do this, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I'm sad we didn't finish it.
I don't want to give any spoilers. I'm kind of...
I mean, go for it. Because here's the thing, full disclosure, as if and when I ever finish it, I'm going to bitch about it for a solid 4 hours into a microphone.
Yeah.
So spoilers are forthcoming, hinging upon this fact. So you might as well spoil it. If there's something you want to say, I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and review Cobra Kai like on the spot.
No, I think the latest season, now season 4, probably my favourite out of them. But no Valley Championship in it. Miyagi-Do's losing, but it's actually Daniel's daughter is getting completely trashed on the mats. And it's actually when she looks at Johnny and starts using his training.
It's a very...
that she actually starts winning. So she actually learned better from Johnny than she did Daniel.
Isn't that, I want to say that's very, like sort of Japanese mythology-y. You know what I mean? Where like the masters are conflicting over a student, and the one master has like a blood tie or whatever, but they always end up where like real skill is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
She has a big thing about cross-training, I suppose you would call it. She's kind of trained with everybody now at this stage, but you can see her being a far better fighter for doing it.
Right. Because, and you have to, because if you're getting into it and you're not deluding yourself and you're not in it for the wrong reasons, you're going to find the genuine articles. And if Daniel-san is your dad and he's like, I'll teach you karate, eventually you go, oh fuck, you're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is. Like all the kids in the on the playground when you were a kid who said they knew karate, if they ever had to put their money where their mouth was, you got to see it in living color.
Yeah.
Like very seldom did I put my money where my mouth was, and oftentimes kids who would wave a nice big check about how their ass could cash it would end up with that check shoved in their ass. So that's the thing. If genuine skill needs to happen if you're going to, especially if you go to a championship. Like, come on, Daniel-son.
It doesn't matter. I'd say Mike Barnes will come back next season and kick all their asses. So
probably, because that's the thing. You can't. The fans, if you like legitimately make Cobra Kai the heroes of Cobra Kai without dangling the idea of Miyagi-Do being a wood, it's like the Ross and Rachel of the series.
Yeah.
The day that these two dojos meld and have a baby dojo, series over. Mm-hmm. This happens every time. But at least they're being real. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
I don't personally, it's not my personal cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I can give it props for where it's legitimate and for everything that it is doing. For us, Cobra Kai, I'm not even a fan, but I would still say I'm more Cobra Kai than Miyagi-Do. Again, not deluded.
Yeah.
I live where the Cobra Kai would actually be a real thing.
Right.
I had someone email me about 6 months ago to complain on my
Really?
YouTube channel as well, because of the fact that they noticed that I had no Miyagi-Do actors on my channel, yet I had a number of Cobra Kais.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, man. Fanboys. And especially with his divisive, like with the Turtles, the fanboys and girls are split up into enough subgroups that there's not so much animosity.
Yeah.
Like you can be one of the four turtles, or any one that like Casey Jones, like as nutty as those people would be, or a Splinter fan, as weird as those people would be. You can spread it out. If you're going to say, well, it's Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do, woof, you got a magnet with two sides and they are highly polarized.
Yeah.
Oh, there gets more sides as the seasons go on,
but your touchstone and your warm fuzzies are going to be logos, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's too much. It's too much to bear. So how many people are coming in annoying you with that stuff? Not a lot, I hope.
No.
But let's be real about this. You haven't made it until someone is noticed to complain about you. So congratulations.
That was the first complaint I've ever had.
Whoa, hey, then that was your the breaking of the seal.
Mm-hmm.
That was it, and I think I actually went back and looked after that, and I think since I started my channel, I've only actually had 5 dislikes on videos, and I've had 100 videos, and I thought that's pretty good going.
Yeah, that's not bad. But that's the thing. You need to get big enough that, here's the problem with this dichotomy, is once enough people, and you included, consider yourself an authority, people are going to look to take down that tent pole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd say this. Don't ever find problem with detractors, because that means that they find your opinion sturdy enough that they want to knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish I had haters. We aren't even known enough for people to find my bullshit irritating. They're all just sort of, hey, I'm laissez-faire about the whole thing. So as soon as you get someone being like, you're wrong and here's why, do an imaginary like Nerf swish, because that means that they think you're important enough to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. Definitely.
But you and I both secretly know that they are wrong, because Miyagi-Do is the wrong choice.
Yeah.
It is.
It like legitimately, if you were a Ninja Turtle fan and they were like, "Oh, who's your favorite character?" and they were like, "One of the anonymous robotic Foot Clan members." What? Ugh. I would even take one of the stupid cheesy robots they fight. Like their first encounter in the Technodrome that are made out of like paper mache and sparks. I would take that over a Foot Clan and Miyagi-Do. Woof.
Yeah, definitely.
But speaking about that, hey, what do you think about those hot riding teenagers from Dimension X? Any legitimate opinion on them? I prefer them as far as side characters.
Yeah.
I had no segue for that, so I had to just throw it out there. And they're such, obviously we've moved on, and they're such compelling characters too, because not only is it like contemporarily the 80s on Earth, but God knows what is happening in Dimension X. And they fly out of that portal that we get to see into that is just a void of floating lava, rock, and fire that are all populated with soldiers. Where the hell are these teenagers living? Who sold them their cars? Like, is there a rock monster who was popped out of his mom and was like, you know what? I don't want to be a soldier. I want to sell cars. And he's the only one? I need answers.
There's a possible Marvel crossover there somewhere.
Yeah, there's definitely a multiverse happening. But seriously, when you look into that dimension, and then when those teenagers pop out with their 50s style Cadillac sports cars that run on plutonium, and okay, not that this needs to be picked apart, but Donatello can literally make, fabricate anything. Someone says, "Hey, Donatello, can you do blah?" He does it.
Yeah.
Except one time. When they leave behind the other Cadillac, right? They're like, "Hey, man, thanks for helping us. Have one of our cars." And they're like, "Woohoo!" And it literally runs out of fuel right there. So they pop it open, and Donatello's like, "You know what? It runs on plutonium." Bitch, what? You made handheld communicators that look like turtle shells in the sewer with no formal education. And you cannot find just a little plutonium somewhere?
Nope.
I can't. You couldn't, like, let's say, sure, maybe plutonium's hard to find, but there are uranium sources. There's stuff. There are nuclear power plants on the East Coast, dude. This is bullshit. I'm writing a letter. So I needed you to know that as a Ninja Turtles fan, that's the only time that Donatello fails at his job.
Yeah, definitely.
And it happens so early on in the season, you forget about it.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it.
Well, I only bring it up because I said this off air, but I'm, full disclosure, I'll say it on air. Watch the first disc of it's 10 discs of all seasons of Ninja Turtles. My wife got me the 4th copy of it for Christmas. Legitimately, the 4th one. I got one there. There's one over here.
It's a different color.
It's a different color and it's a different box, but it's the same rip. Whoever has these files left all the broken crap in them because everybody who owns them, all the same earmarks are there, but whatever. Watch the first 10 episodes. The first disc is just like a little mini movie.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah. I wish there's got to be a fan edit out there where they cut all the credits out because it should be a movie.
Yeah.
It's got the neutrinos. I think that's what they're called.
I think it's that long since I've watched the first few discs of that.
Dear God. Here's what I'll do. No, I can't promise this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to find somebody out there to rip all these things and make me a goddamn movie of this thing. And then I'll bootleg it and sell it on black market channels. I mean, it's changed hands so many times. They're so old, they're practically in the public domain. We just got Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the one with the shirt, though. That's important.
No.
If you're going to rip off Winnie the Pooh, he's got to be sans shirt. This is for your listeners, too, Emmett. This is important. They came here for martial arts paraphernalia, but this is real knowledge they can bring with them. They can rip off Winnie the Pooh if they want. Put him big as life on the back of your gi. No one can sue you.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he's wearing a gi that's red. Sued. That's you. Oh, man. Emmett, this has been so fun. Thanks for coming back on the show, buddy.
Problem.
So let's plug your stuff again. We've got Sensei Emmett on YouTube, obviously. Tons of great interviews there in the martial arts world. Cobra Kai cast members, etc. No Miyagi-Do. Yet.
Yet.
We're going to do the 100-man Kumate. I want to plug that. What else? Do you have anything you want to recommend for us? Staff recommendations?
I actually took part in a survey recently of, I don't know if your listeners have heard of Chris Wilder and Lawrence Kane. They would be authors in martial arts books. They've had some, Chris had Shit Sun Tzu Sid was one of his books.
Oh, okay.
And that guy. But they've done a survey across martial arts, and the book's coming out. It's called Martial Arts in Your Life. So they've literally surveyed over 100 martial artists worldwide from all different systems and inside and outside the law and things like that. And they've kind of put all this statistics together and kind of come up with kind of link things together within this book. They tell the story of what gets people into martial arts, why people train.
Okay.
And sort of one of the questions in it was, I say, have you ever spent a night in jail?
Okay, interesting.
And I was looking to see people, martial artists, the things that was coming up was they all sort of hold honour and respect and these kind of things is very high, and they all have a code of ethics. But it came up that most of them will actually step offline and commit crime if need be for a certain situation and then come back to being ethical afterwards. So, but it was very interesting, some of the insights they came up with, and the book comes out now at the end of February.
Really? Okay, so when there's sources for that, get them at me, because that is interesting, and I would like to give those links to my fans too, because there are a lot of people out there, me included, actually, in this specific instance, who would like to see a breakdown of all this stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I've done the survey and I've been waiting since, I think it was last April, they actually sent them out. And they've been putting all the statistics together since and putting this together. So
it's also, I would love a control group too, because obviously it's all self-reporting. So the positive attributes are going to be reported in a lot higher instances than the low. But at least it'll give us an idea of what self-appraisal looks like in the martial arts world.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do know the author actually came out and said that he was shocked at how honest people were. So that's something that's kind of piqued my interest of how honest were people.
Yeah, I wonder too, because, having a pair of eyes that you sit behind and seeing all this, you must sort of, also when you're looking at these statistics, you must gauge a little bit by gut and shrink all those curves on the plus side a little more and raise all the ones on the negative side a little higher. Because we all go, well, yeah, this all looks well and good, but Oh, wow. Interesting stuff, man. Super cool. Obviously, for staff recommendations, I'm going to recommend this 100-man Kumate thing, obviously, but the more stable ship in these waters is Sensei Emmett's channel. We're still not on social media, I imagine. No Twitter, no...
Nope, just YouTube.
All right. One-stop shop. I like it.
Yeah.
I've said this before, but it's annoying having more than one outlet. You're just terrible at all of them. And that's me. I'm terrible at every outlet I've got.
I think when I started, I was on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything, and it kind of got to the point where we were sort of pulled between so many. I just thought I'm just picking one and going with it.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about branching out, and I think, what? That just means, like let's say you're doing 5 things, and they're each getting as much as they can. At best, they're getting 20%, and I'm not doing my best. So why add another? So you're getting like 3% across the board for all these things. Yeah, but whatever. Yeah. So Krista, do you want to throw in a recommendation?
I can't think of anything aside from doubling down on yours.
Maybe the Ninja Turtles can not sneak out here with a recommendation.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. I feel like that's always
I get no money from them, but still. Also, hey, maybe we can talk about this later at a different date, and I should have thought about it. But have you, and maybe we've even talked about it because my memory is shit, but Batman versus the Ninja Turtles, have you seen it?
I haven't, no.
Dear
I've
God.
heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
It is worth every minute of your time. I had a friend of the show, Kayla, name drop, pushing it on me, and I was like, yeah, one day. DVD showed up in the mail from her. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I waited this long without it. It's pretty legit.
Yeah,
it's legitimate to both worlds, because
Yeah.
I was a Batman animated series fan and obviously a Ninja Turtles fan. Pretty genuine on all sides.
Yeah.
So, I
That's
mean,
good.
enjoyable. So that's what I'm going to recommend to you personally. Get that DVD or find it digitally. It's good. And then we'll talk
Find
about it.
I actually want to get some of the cast from the original Turtles movies actually on my channel.
Oh, that'd be
So-
awesome.
It's something I'm working on at the minute, but
If you can get Ernie Reyes Jr., is that his name? Kino from Ninja Turtles 2.
yeah.
If you can get him. That's Ernie Reyes Jr., is that it? I'm so bad at people's real names.
I'm the same.
Find Kino. You know what I'm talking about. He'll deliver a pizza. He's like in his late 50s now, so maybe we'll get there in 30 minutes or less, but still. All right. Once again, Emmett, thank you for coming on the show. It's a blast. Thank you, listener, for listening and everything, and we'll see you next time on Everything Everywhere.
Thank you, guys.
Take her easy.
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.